Hi, my name is Shan. I'm a technical officer and I work for the Koala Research and Monitoring Team, which sits within the Threatened Species Operations branch within Queensland Parks and Wildlife.
Yes, hello, I'm Josie. I'm also a technical officer, a part of the Koala Research and Monitoring Team. Yeah, and today we're at an urban site in Kalanga, here to find some koalas. Yeah.
When we arrive at our office, we usually give ourselves about half an hour to organise ourselves for the day. We make sure we have everything in our packs that we need, so usually water supply, having some food, making sure our first aid kits are appropriately packed, and that we have our instruments to collect our data. We make sure that we have all our maps loaded onto our phones and that we have our GPSs charged and working, and that kind of gets us ready to go. From there, we usually will delegate roles in terms of who's working with who. We like to work in pairs for safety and also for our survey methods.
And then when we're on site, when we're at our transects, we'll utilise our GPS and our phones to record the start data of our transect. So that includes our GPS start point as well as the time, who's conducting the transects, as well as the dates, how many people we have in the field, and then we'll go from there, starting our transect line. As we're walking through the transects, obviously looking for koalas, until we get to the end of our transect, when we'll then record the same GPS coordinates for the end of the transect, but then also habitat characteristics, so stuff to do with the vegetation, canopy coverage, sub-canopy coverage, weed coverage. So as you can see where we are right now, it's quite thick with ochna, which is an invasive species. So we would definitely write that down. Also on a couple of the trees you can see some cat's claw creeper vine, which is a invasive species that does impact koalas, so we would definitely write that down. As well as any comments that we have in there, if we saw any predators along the way, domestic dogs, any scat from wild dogs as well, any birds of prey that we might have noticed along the way, and any specific details as well that might help future surveys to be conducted. So for example, if there's a really steep area which we weren't able to pass through, we would definitely write that down, just for the future people to complete the transects, just letting them know of any hazards that go through the area to be aware of. Yeah.
We also, before we start our transects, either in the office or when we get to the site, we'll do a safety briefing as well. And that's just with the people that are going to be on the site that day, what the potential hazards might be that the site may have, whether that's rubbish within the site or really steep areas, the potential for snakes or other animals that may present some harm to us, and then what are some potential strategies for us to be able to minimise the risks of those potential threats. If we see a koala, we definitely gather more data in terms of what tree species the koala is in, the height of the koala in the tree height, if the koala is healthy, so looking for signs of disease, because as we know, chlamydia is a big risk or threat to koalas at the moment. So looking for whether their eyes are clear, non-weepy, not red, whether their bottoms are clean and not stained, looking for the sex of the koala, if there's evidence of breeding, so if they have a joey or pouch young, if we can see that. And I guess if we haven't seen a koala, we try and look for evidence of koalas as well, because as we know, they're quite difficult to see. So looking for the presence of scat, as Josie said before, whether that's old scat or fresh scat, looking for scratchings or markings on trees, but also we know that there are other arboreal animals that do scratch on trees, so we don't obviously we take that with a grain of salt, but definitely looking at scat as our main sort of indicator for koala activity.
So if you are a private landholder out there wanting to know if there are koalas in your area, please contact us. We are looking for areas in the Scenic Rim, Lockyer Valley, Sunshine Coast and Toowoomba areas, as well as Somerset. and we would love to help you out to see if we can find koalas on your land so you can get more resources to manage your area as well.